There are rules on every mountain. Some are printed on trail maps in cheerful colors, and some are said once in a locker room and never written down. The one you hear your first week on ski patrol, said without a smile and with eyes on your face to see if you understood. If you see them on the forbidden trail after sweep, let them pass. Don't wave, don't warn, don't follow. Let them pass. We all laugh it off on day one. By mid-season, you learn which rules keep you alive and which ones keep the mountain at peace. I work a mid-sized resort in the northern Rockies, the kind with one glossy brochure photo of blue sky and 100 days that look like the inside of a snow globe. Our patrol shack sits just below the summit chair, walls lined with radios, sled harnesses, and bamboo destined to become boundary lines before lunch. Locals call the traverse we're talking about the Forbidden Trail, but on the ops map, it's just Service 17, a cat road cut into the ribs of a steep face between two avalanche paths. It's roped to the public. We use it for control work and to shuttle injured guests when weather turns a groomer into a death wish. The story everyone hears in fragments is from the 90s. For locals ducked a rope on a storm day and disappeared into a slide that didn't release until spring. Patrol recovered what could be recovered. A cross stood above Service 17 for a few seasons until management asked us to take it down because memorials are off-brand. Someone still tucks a sprig of pine where the cross used to be. Someone still says their names softly when it's snowing sideways. The official rule is about terrain management and safety protocols. The other rule, the one about letting them pass, doesn't have a reason written beside it, just a silence we've all learned to recognize. It was a whiteout night near the end of January when I first saw them, or think I did. We'd finished sweep late because guests were nesting under lift terminals like cold birds, and we were prying them loose with free cocoa and gentle threats. Last year had gone 20 minutes prior. My partner Rosa and I were pulling bamboo along the top of Service 17 to retension the rope line when the radio popped and gave us a fragment of a voice with no call sign. Copy, we said. Nothing. Just the soft electric hush snow makes when it's falling through your headlamp. Rosa clicked to tack and said, "Stay put, listen." She has the field sense I trust, even when my nerves want motion. I stood with one ski on either side of the rope, tips pointed along Service 17, and breathed through my balaclava until the frost on the knit warmed back to wet. The mountain is never quiet. It just changes what it wants you to notice. That night it wanted me to hear edges on hardpack not far off, a hiss-scratch, like someone carving short parallel turns on boilerplate and never losing speed. They came into view as if my headlamp was the thing moving, not them. For figures gliding across the traverse just inside the rope, no headlamps, no chatter, old-school silhouettes, long straight skis, narrow shoulders, poles with small baskets. Their jackets were the washed-out reds and greens that live only in faded trail photos in the lodge hallway. No faces in my light, only the suggestion of goggles where snow should have clung. Rosa's voice in my ear was level and slow. "Hold. Let them pass." They moved like water frozen mid-pour. No chatter of edges, no rooster tails, just that steady hiss as the bases kissed the wind-scoured crust. When the first one reached the stand of black timber we use as a landmark, my radio emitted the little courtesy beep radios make when you let go of the transmit button. No one was transmitting. "Thank you," said a voice that didn't belong to Rosa or anyone on our net. Polite, breathless, as if it had run here through a storm. The signal meter showed nothing. The voice had come from inside the beep. Rosa's pole tap hit my ski as a reminder more than a warning. "We don't speak to them," she said. The words were barely sound. The second and third skiers slid by, and something in the air behind them felt warmer, like they carried their own weather, and it softened the sting of the snow for 2 heartbeats. The fourth paused where the memorial used to be. He, or she, I couldn't tell, turned slightly toward the rope. I saw a sticker on a helmet the shop stopped selling before I joined patrol. Then the head tipped, a nod, not to me exactly, but to the idea of someone standing watch. Dispatch broken then with a real-world problem. Guest report of an overdue teen last seen near the top of Eagle. Possible hypothermia. Phone ping putting them somewhere along Service 17. I felt the rule and my training pull like 2 ropes tied to different trees. Rosa answered first, voice crisp, we have 4 on the traverse. Negative contact. Staging at Tower 9. Let them pass. Copy? Dispatch said copy, then added a coordinate that put the ping almost exactly where the 4th figure had paused. The figure pushed off and followed the others into the white. I don't break rules, printed or whispered, but picturing a kid folding in that wind pressed the part of me that has hauled sleds and sat in snow until lips found color. Rosa saw it on face. Don't, she said. We wait. If you drop in behind them, you won't come out where you think. Her voice was steady, but her glove on forearm trembled like a cable before a line stops. The radio beeped once. Thank you for waiting, the not-quite voice breathed. The hiss faded. Rosa counted to 60 out loud under her breath, a steady metronome wrapped in fleece. We sidestepped downslope to Tower 9, the lift pole looming out of the white like a lighthouse with no shore. Spindrift feathered across our boots. The rope line thrummed once, as if something large had just brushed it 3 towers away. The radio gave that lone courtesy beep again, empty of carrier tone, and a child's voice bled through the static with no call sign at all. I can't feel my hands. Dispatch pushed a new ping. It lined up with the bench below the traverse, a shallow shelf where snow collects and confidence drains. Rosa flagged the plan. On the fall line, every 6 meters, tie-in spacing, no chatter. I set bamboo and webbing and felt each knot with mittens until memory took over and hands stopped guessing. We stepped down in a short belay, edges biting chalk, boards humming like a taut string. I kept my eyes on the rope's ghost in the snow and on the wind's telltales, little ferns that grow and point like weather vanes for people who forget to look up. The white opened a notch and closed again. Something glittered below, not a star, not a reflection from our lamps, but a sliver of mylar stuck in a slab fracture, flapping like a heartbeat. A gum wrapper led to a glove print, led to a single but slide mark that ended in the shadow of a stunted spruce. I heard the smallest sound, the sound every patroller hates and hopes for at once. A low, embarrassed moan someone makes when shivering has crossed over into sleepiness. Rosa knelt first. Border, mid-teens, rental jacket crusted with rime, goggles fog from the inside. His fingers were bare, tucked in his sleeves, the heroic trick kids try when pride has already cost them sensation. Hey, buddy, Rosa said, voice bright and boring on purpose, the same register you use to coax a stray dog. You won the hide-and-seek championship. Game's over. We're here. I checked airway and breathing and resisted the urge to rub his hands. You warm frostbite, you don't massage it. Heat packs in armpits and groin, chemical kind activated with our teeth because gloves won't tear foil. I swapped his soaked neck gaiter for mine, pulled my spare mitts over his fists, slipped a silver bivvy around his shoulders, and slid a foil blanket under his hips to keep the earth from stealing the rest of him. He cried quietly when feeling returned like hornets. Dispatch Patrol 3, Rosa said. Subject located, conscious, slow speech, cold stress, possible frost snip to digits. Prepare warming in aid room. We're packaging for sled. Route via service 17 bench to Cat Road. Copy. Real voices answered now. The cozy chorus of a building with lights, hot water, and cocoa. I set the anchor. Rosa rigged the sled. We eased him in and crossed the straps. The wind rose, not a gust so much as a long intention. Snow whispered away from the traverse like curtains being drawn in a gentle house. Then the beep again, soft and tidy. Follow the rope, said the polite breath. Rosa didn't flinch. I pretended not to hear and watched the cornice line instead. We waited until the hiss returned somewhere higher on the ridge, for beats of edges kissing ice, then started our slow traverse, skis wide, hips low, sled balanced like an extra thought you don't want to drop. Trees appeared and vanished like old friends in a dream. My headlamp tunneled 30 feet of truth at a time. Beyond that, the mountain chose what to keep. At the old memorial spot, the rope line dipped around a drift and the wind decided to die for 3 seconds. It was enough. The 4 figures were there again, moving left to right across our cone of light, each taking the same clean line I would have drawn with a ruler. The fourth paused, head tipped. A sticker on that helmet flashed, a sun-bleached shop logo from before my first season. Rose's pole touched my calf. Eyes forward. We'll let them pass. The air behind them felt warm enough to fog my lenses. When the warmth cleared, so did the last of my questions about the rule. The rest was work. Side-slip the short pitch, keep the sled out of the fall line, hit the cat track, radio the shack, wave the snowcat off so we didn't drown our own subject in diesel and noise. In the aid room, the teens' hands were gray-yellow mottled, nails a little blue, but cap refill was coming back between sobs. We lined his core with heat packs, took off boots carefully, elevated feet, avoided hot cocoa until the shivering turned purposeful again. He said he tried to make last chair from the top of Eagle and cut a close sign because a stranger waved. What stranger? I asked. He looked past me at the window where nothing was visible but our own reflections in the dark. The one with old skis, he said. He said he knew a shortcut. Rosa and I said nothing to each other until the room quieted and paperwork began. Then we traded a look people share when the mountain has addressed a letter to both names. On the sweep log, I wrote words that would make sense to anyone who didn't need the rest. Subject located below traverse, packaged and transported, stable on arrival. On the dry erase board in the shack, I drew a short underline beneath the words "N.O. Public on Service 17" and left a tiny sprig of fur on the windowsill, because habit becomes ritual when you're not careful. When guests ask about the Forbidden Trail, we give the safety speech. Among ourselves, we keep the other rules short. Don't wave, don't warn, don't follow. After sweep, let them pass and count that quiet as part of the job.